Welcome to Clear News Daily for April 29, 2026. Everything you hear is purely news and facts. We are not sharing any opinions or passing any judgment of any kind. Today we cover world news, news from the United States, tech and business, and sports. Let's get started. Now we turn to world news. Today we have two significant international stories involving a potential ceasefire in Ukraine and a major regulatory action from the European Union targeting Meta. The phone call between Trump and Putin lasted about an hour and a half, making it one of the longer direct conversations between the two leaders. May 9th is one of Russia's most symbolically important national holidays. Whether a short pause leads to broader peace talks remains uncertain at this stage. The EU's finding against Meta is part of a broader effort to enforce the Digital Services Act, which sets strict rules for how large platforms handle minors. Age verification has been a sticking point for major social media companies across multiple countries. A fine of 6% of global revenue would represent billions of dollars for a company the size of Meta. Now turning to news from the United States. Today we have two stories involving the financial cost of the war in Iran and a historic split vote by the Federal Reserve on interest rates. Providing Congress with an official price tag is a significant step in the oversight process for any military operation. The figure of $25 billion covers roughly 2 months of conflict and is expected to grow. Lawmakers will now use this number as a reference point in upcoming funding debates. A 4-member dissent is unusually large for the Federal Reserve, which typically reaches decisions by consensus. The divide reflects genuine uncertainty about whether the economy needs lower rates sooner or later. For everyday Americans, the rate decision has a direct connection to the cost of borrowing for homes and vehicles. Coming up is tech and business news. Today's two stories both involve the Federal Reserve, covering the Senate's next step on its leadership and a legal development involving the current chair. The Senate Banking Committee's party line vote sends Warsh's nomination to the full Senate for confirmation. Powell's acknowledgement that Wednesday's briefing was his last as chair marks the near end of his tenure. Warsh previously served as a Fed governor during the 2008 financial crisis. The Justice Department's decision to close the investigation removes a potential obstacle in the transition of Fed leadership. The probe had drawn attention given Powell's role as one of the most powerful financial officials in the country. The focus now shifts fully to the confirmation process for Kevin Warsh. Finally, we wrap up with sports. Today we have two updates from the NBA playoffs, with one team pushing another to the edge of elimination and another series heading into a pivotal Game 5. Orlando's run has been one of the bigger surprises of this year's playoffs. The Magic entered as heavy underdogs against Detroit, the Eastern Conference's top seed. Winning 3 straight after losing Game 1 puts them in a commanding position heading into Game 5. Los Angeles is 1 win away from advancing to the second round of the playoffs. Austin Reeves has been one of the Lakers' key contributors this season, so his potential return would be a significant boost. Houston needs to win to avoid elimination and keep their postseason alive. Here is a quick recap of everything we just covered. In world news, Trump and Putin spoke about a possible ceasefire in Ukraine, and the EU ruled that Meta is not protecting children on its platforms. In the United States, the Pentagon gave Congress the first official cost figure for the Iran war, and the Federal Reserve held rates in its most divided vote in decades. In tech and business, the Senate panel advanced Kevin Warsh for Fed chair, and the DOJ dropped its probe into Jerome Powell. In sports, Orlando pushed Detroit to the brink in the NBA playoffs, and the Lakers are 1 win away from advancing past Houston. And here are some other stories making news today. On the world stage, Trump rejected Iran's request to lift the naval blockade of its ports and warned Iran to reach a deal. In the United States, the Supreme Court heard arguments about whether the administration can end temporary protected status for people from Haiti and Syria. In business, the Dow fell about 280 points, weighed down by rising oil prices and the Fed's rate decision. In sports, the Knicks beat Atlanta to take a 3-2 series lead and will host Game 6 on Thursday. In entertainment, Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt attended a special screening of The Devil Wears Prada 2 ahead of its May 1st release. And Carrie Underwood told reporters that life on her Tennessee farm is a world away from her work on American Idol. And that is a look at some of the other stories making news today. Thank you for watching Clear News Daily for April 29, 2026. These summaries are shared for awareness to help you stay connected with what is happening around the world. Everything you heard today is purely news and facts with no opinions or judgments. Stay curious and stay informed. That is a wrap for today. If you found these headlines useful, please like this video and subscribe to Clear News Daily for fresh headlines every day. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. See you next time.